Mangwana ni Mwalelepo Vukenja ni Kwekwas Manave Africa. Welcome to Africa Good Morning, the news and current affairs show bringing you everything you need to know happening on the African continent and beyond. You are joined by the A-team, Ashwin and Aina, on a Monday. How are you, Aina?
I'm fantastic. How are you? Brand new week.
Brand new week.
Possibilities.
Brand new possibilities.
Yes. And everything in between. Yes. Here are the news making headlines. UN Food Aid deliveries by AI robots could begin next year. Mozambique doctors back on strike. And then record ocean tempt lift Atlantic hurricane outlook. You can watch Africa Good Morning on DSTV 285 as well as GoTV 25 in Namibia. Later on the show we have Talen Gore and Ari Hohad to bring us the sports with Ari and news making headlines in Zimbabwe.
Welcome to Active Kids, a daily TV show that sparks creativity, learning, and fun for young minds. With exciting activities and lessons, Active Kids inspires curiosity and a love for learning.
New face to the 15.
The perfect mix of play and education. Don't miss out on the fun. Tune into Active Kids on NTV every weekday at 10 o'clock and let the adventure begin.
In our top stories this morning, UN Food Aid deliveries by AI robots could begin next year. All-powered robotic vehicles could deliver food parcels to conflict and disaster zone by as early as next year in a move aimed to spare the lives of humanitarian workers, a World Food Programme official told Reuters. Attacks against aid workers have intensified in recent years amid the highest number of violent conflicts since World War II. According to the United Nations WFP, the UN Food Aid Agency alone lost 3 workers earlier this year in Sudan's conflict. Sometimes it's too dangerous to send in a driver or WFP staff, so using that technology could actually be a step change, said Bernard, who heads the WFP's innovation department.
Now, the Medical Association of Mozambique announced a new national strike of 21 days starting on Monday, and this is contesting salary cuts with the application of the new table in the civil service and lack of overtime pay. The association justified the decision to return to strike action after the suspension of another called in December with the absence of results in the understandings reached with the government in negotiations held at the end of last year. The government promised to resolve the issue of salary cuts and the lack of overtime payments from February, but so far there have been no results. On Saturday, we had a meeting with a new government team, different to the team that was negotiating with the doctors in December, and which has now informed us that it will not implement what we previously agreed, explained AMM President Milton Tati. Lusa contacted Mozambique's health ministry, which promised to make statements on the matter soon. The Mozambican medical profession announced its discontent in November last year when they postponed a first strike after meetings with the economy and health ministers to give the government time to implement the agreed principles.
And in our next story, record ocean temperatures lift Atlantic hurricane outlook. Forecasters in Colorado State University for a second time raised their estimate of storms during this year's Atlantic hurricane season, citing record sea surface temperatures. The group had last month raised its outlook to a near normal season and number of storms. On Thursday, it boosted its forecast of 18 named storms, producing 9 hurricanes, 4 of which could become major storms with winds of at least 111 miles per hour. The continued anomalous warning reason for the increase in our forecast numbers.
Now, a 19-year-old Nigerian school pupil who has been at the center of a controversy about whether she got the coveted nationwide top spot in the year's final year exams has admitted that she forged her results sheet. The row surrounding Ejikeme Joy Mesoma reached Nigeria's parliament, where lawmakers debated the issue. She had been celebrated after coming forward to say that she had an overall score of 362 in the exams and was the nation's top achiever. Miss Mesoma, who went to school in Anambra State, produced what looked like results printout to prove her case. A local businessman then offered her a 3 million naira scholarship, but the exam authority, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, disputed its authenticity, saying the pupil got 249. It also said that the format of the printout that she had shown was no longer being used, and there were a number of other inconsistencies. Many took the 19-year-old side and accused Jamba of trying to cover up glitches on its website that led to it issuing two different results. According to a report signed off on Friday, Mesoma admitted to have given a manipulated result by herself, unaided.
In our next story, Wagner chief is still in Russia, says Belarus president. Wagner chief Yevgeny Prigozhin is still in Russia, Belarus president said Thursday, raising questions about the deal to end the mercenary leaders' mutiny last month. Rescue workers, meanwhile, were clawing through rubble in the UNESCO-protected western Ukrainian city of Lviv, which was hit by Russian missiles earlier on Thursday that killed 4 and injured a dozen more. Belarus leader Alexander Lukashenko mediated a deal to the Prigozhin's revolt, the most serious challenge to Russian President Vladimir Putin's rule. That was to see the mercenaries head into Belarusian exile.
All right, that brings us to the end of our top stories on Africa. Good morning. After the break, we talk to Talent Gore in Zimbabwe.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
All right, let's get into the top stories in Zimbabwe as the main opposition star rally. A star rally is usually the biggest rally, heading into elections, has been banned by the government. Could you please get into that story and more, Talent, Wamukase?
Yes, Africa, good morning. So apparently, Citizens Coalition for Change, opposition political parties star rally was banned on Friday. They were supposed to hold a rally yesterday, but the police said that they could not go ahead with the rally as the venue that they were planning on holding the rally was not ideal for gathering a lot of people. The police said that the venue for the rally was not suitable for hosting large gatherings and that it was a security and health threat. This is the third CCC rally to be blocked by the police inside 7 days after 2 rallies were banned in Chiredzi and Zaka earlier last week. The CCC immediately criticized the move as more evidence of a push by President Emmerson Mnangagwa and his ruling party to silence the opposition using the police and the courts. Apparently on Saturday, ZANU-PF actually held a rally in Chinoy around there, which is actually, I think, it's the third rally that the main ruling party ZANU-PF has actually held, and the Citizens Coalition for Change has had its rallies being banned. So they're saying that it's not fair. There should be equal level ground for all political parties in the country to hold rallies since we are now heading into elections. I think there are 6 weeks left for the elections to be held, and the opposition party is not being allowed to campaign.
All right, talent, moving on, we understand that 69 people have been killed in a mine accident. Tell us more.
Yes, apparently 66 people were killed in 66 accidents, mine accidents during the first 3 months of this year, with the authorities attributing most of the incidents to disregard of regulations, resulting in the collapse of mines. Government statistics show that there were 182 mine accidents fatalities last year, up from 139 the previous year. Most of the accidents which were recorded at mines in Mashonaland West and Midlands provinces were a result of poor enforcement and disregard of mining regulations. So the government has urged miners and those with mines to ensure that they uphold mining regulations. There's some of them, they're just going into the mines and doing their business without a proper protective way and without holding the regulation that is needed for one to actually go into a mine and mine.
And the last of your top stories, Ponzi scheme founder flees with investors $1 million US. Tell us about that.
Yes, well, apparently this is not the first time that Zimbabweans have been duped. So lately there's been an Ponzi scheme called e-creator, and people were in disbelief. They didn't believe that it was a Ponzi scheme, so most of them invested in the Ponzi scheme. Apparently, it was actually a registered company in the country, and the founder of the online Ponzi scheme, e-creator, left his clients seething with anger after duping them a large sum of money before vanishing. Apparently, the creator of e-creator actually left with over $1 million, and Zimbabweans have reported to the police, and the police are saying that they are still investigating the matter. Apparently, the Ponzi scheme, for one to become a VIP one employee, for e-creator they were supposed to pay $50 with the promise of getting a $50, and for a VIP two employee, they required a minimum of 100 United States dollars and a maximum of 500 USD. So for one to if you invest that, you'd get $1,000 or 1,000 plus. So most people are actually talking about it online, saying that they have invested and now they have 1,000 and thousands of dollars. Some were actually withdrawing the money, but as all Ponzi schemes, this came. There was a downfall to this as people lost their money just last week, and now people are reporting to the police, and some are crying that I had sold my car to invest into this business, and now all my money is gone. So the police say that they are actually investigating the matter.
Wow, very interesting. We certainly hope that people can get some kind of justice on the other end of that. Thank you very much, Talent Gore, for bringing us the news stories from Zimbabwe.
You're welcome, and thank you very much for having me.
It's always good having you on Africa Good Morning. Stay with us as we head into the weather predictions.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouth-watering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours, and let the culinary adventure begin.
Let's have a look at our economic news, proudly brought to you by Bank Windhoek Angola, DRC, iconic rail revamp to quench global minerals thirst. Angola and the Democratic Republic of Congo are pinning hopes or economic revival on the revamp of an iconic African railway connecting mineral-rich inland areas to the Atlantic Ocean. Earlier this week, Luanda and Kinshasa granted a group of investors a 30-year concession to operate the line linking Angola's seaport of Lobito to Kolwezi, a southern city in the heart of DRC's Copper Belt, partially funded by the United States. The $555 million project is expected to boost mineral export and intra-African trade and cement Angola's diplomatic pivot to the West, analysts said.
Now, Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu has ordered the suspension of a newly introduced 10% on single-use plastics and excise duty on some locally manufactured products to reduce business costs in Africa's biggest economy, his spokesman said on Thursday, and this is 10% tax. Nigeria is one of the biggest plastic polluters on the continent, contributing some 2.5 million tons of plastic waste annually, some of which ends up in the sea, official data shows. Dele Alake said Tinubu signed executive orders suspending a green tax on single-use plastics, including plastic containers and bottles, that was introduced in March. The orders also suspended implementation of a 5% telecoms tax, first mooted by the previous government, and stopped an increase in car import duty and excise duty on selected goods manufactured locally. Let's head into the economic indicators and we'll return with Ari Hohad and the sport.
Namibians are still safe.
Everywhere else, the Supreme Court said we are not going to rely on foreign judgments.
By all means, we try to not make journalists public figures, but at the end of the day, they are.
Very good evening. My name is Tewan Jabela, your host.
With their Protestant offsprings.
But the implementation, like she's saying, is another thing.
All right, it's time for us to get into the sports news. It was good news for the Springboks, bad news for the Wallabies, which usually feels quite good for me. Ari, I don't know how you feel. Tell us.
Yes, indeed. Morning, Ashwin and everyone. Yes, good news for the Springboks. Talking about the rugby championship that started. That was at Loftus Versfeld, the first test, the Springboks that beat the Wallabies quite convincingly, 43 points to 43 points to 12. That was in the first test. That was the Wallabies against the Springboks. Also, it's a big one coming up this coming weekend. It's the All Blacks that is waiting for the Springboks that is in Auckland, and the All Blacks also a good start for them. They beat the Argentina quite convincingly as well. A similar score, 41 points to 12, and so it is a big one coming up. Australia will play against Argentina. In motor racing news, it is again Max Verstappen that is winning, and it's just a theme that continues every Monday almost. It's almost a decision or looking at who's coming second, but it's Max Verstappen. They're getting a handshake there from Charles Leclerc. Ferrari not doing well again. That was the British Grand Prix. So Max Verstappen winning, but a good result, number 2 and 3 for British drivers, especially number 2. That is Lando Norris of McLaren that came in second position. That was a bit of a surprise in the qualifying, but he hang on also. He finished second with Lewis Hamilton, Mercedes-Benz in third position. Max Verstappen comfortably 255 points now, leading the championship. Sergio Perez 156, quite a big lead for him from his teammates. Then we go on to golf. It was a big one, US Open golf for women. That was in the United States at Pebble Beach. And the winner there was Alison Corpus. She's actually from Hawaii, but obviously a US citizen. She's 25 years old, never won on the LPGA, but a brilliant win for winning the US Open with a total of -9. She finished with the 3 under par score in the final 4th round. Charlie Hall, England, second, -6, and then tied for 68 was South African Ashley Buhai on +14. A difficult course at Pebble Beach, but a good result for Alison Corpus. Then to close off cricket news, the Ashes, lots of interest in the cricket Ashes. It's Australia playing against England. Not a good weekend then for Australia because they also lost the cricket. Besides losing the rugby, they lost the 3rd test at Headingley to England, and it was England chasing 251 in the 4th innings to win the 3rd test. They made it with the loss of 7 wickets. So it was Brooks with 75, Wilkes 32. That was the main contributors there. Australia leading the series 2-1, and still 2 tests to come. So lots of cricket still to be played there. Good result for England in that one. So that's the international sports news for this morning. Great Monday for everyone, and we continue to talk international sports through the week.
All the best, throughout the week, Ari. Don't worry about us, with the constant nodding. We must affirm each other as we go, and expect you to keep the words going. Have a good one, Ari. Thank you for the sports.
All the best. Bye-bye. Bye.
All right, that was Ari Hawkard with the sports, and we'll return with the highlights after the break.
To another exciting episode of Irongo Talk. We bring jou lees die weer en vertel ook vir julle waar die vis heel moontlik kan byt.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
You're still with Africa. Good morning. Let's get into the highlights from this morning's broadcast. UN food aid deliveries by AI robots could begin next year. Mozambique doctors back out on strike. Record ocean temps lift Atlantic hurricane outlook. And Angola DRC iconic rail revamp to quench global minerals thirst.
Those have been our stories. We thank you very much for watching our show. We do welcome your remarks regarding our show. You can post them on our Twitter and Facebook pages. Please also be reminded that Africa Good Morning screens on DSTV 285 as well as GoTV 25 in Namibia. And on that note, it's all our love, all our light, and happy Monday.
Stay warm, keep others warm too. Sureja Kanaka.